We have two of the stars of A Complete Unknown, the new movie about Bob Dylan, and they're with us this morning. Edward Norton, who plays Pete Seeger, and Monica Barbaro, who plays Joan Baez. Welcome, you two. And I'm going to start out by Everett, congratulations. Golden Globe nomination, Best Supporting Actor. The film also received a nomination as well. And in this movie, it's about a very specific period of time in Bob Dylan's life.
Yeah, it only covers it covers from about 1961 to 1965. This very short window where he came out of nowhere in New York City and came here to New York and in a very few short years went from truly an unknown kid to a cultural icon, you know, who really was being called the voice of his generation and whose music was defining, you know, the social progressive movements at the time. And it's just a very intensive look at that window and the collisions between him and Pete Seeger and Joan Baez and a number of others who were at the heart of that folk music scene.
And Joan Baez was also a voice of her generation, but you didn't have much musical background before you took on this role?
No, I was not a singer. I didn't play guitar, but I had some time. Initially 5 months, and then the strikes happened, so I had a little bit more time to get, you know, really into the music and learn how she finger-picked and used her voice. And
it only took you 5 months?
Yeah, right.
I mean, yeah. Yeah.
And you both learned to sing, but also learned the banjo.
I had a background in classical banjo from like clown school times and things like that, but I had to learn. I had to shift to like bluegrass, you know.
Obviously.
Yeah. No, and I you know, so, but you know, Pete Seeger played in a very specific style that even a lot of the pro banjo players in modern bands don't play in anymore. So it was. The left hand's easy, the right hand's really hard, you know.
They both seem hard to me.
Yeah, they both seem very hard to me. But we know you met Joan Baez. And did she tell you what Pete Seeger was like back in the 60s?
She did. I had met her through musician friends, and so I felt comfortable enough to call her. And it's funny, there are people who were around in that time who maybe are a little tired of talking about Dylan, but nobody's tired of talking about Pete Seeger. They really revered and loved Pete, and Joan gave me some wonderful, incisive insights into him. One that made it into the film was that I said, if you hadn't seen him in a while, would he hug you? And she said, oh Lord, no. Like, he was very Calvinist and very upright. So sometimes when you're talking to people, you can read the books, but you kind of want behavioral gold, you know.
Had you known much about him before you took on this role?
You know, I came up in New York I came to here when I was in my early 20s, and Bob Dylan's song for Woody which Timothy plays to me in the film, was a big part of the soundtrack of my own arrival in New York. It was part of my mythology, and if you came up in New York as an artist, Pete Seeger, he's one of the Olympians, you know, he's the artist activist. He led the cleanup of the Hudson River. You couldn't be in New York as an artist and not know who Pete Seeger was, but I learned a lot on this film, in particular about his period blacklisted during the McCarthy period and what a difficult period he had in the 50s right before this film takes place.
And Monica, were you able to speak with Joan too?
Yeah, I was very lucky that she was willing to give me some of her time, and I knew that they had spoken, so I felt like, you know, it wouldn't be that.
She said, you know, you can tell Monica she can call me.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't know that. When I got on the phone there, she said she was saying to a friend that she was hoping I would reach out, so I felt very validated in my decision, because you never know. It's like, you know, it's very close to a person who they've been, and like, you don't want to, I don't know. It's just, it can be a really daunting task to take on, you know, a role like this when you admire someone so much. And I was just, I mean, she's still on a pedestal for me, and so I wanted to make sure we had like a really nice conversation, and also didn't, you know, that I didn't give too much of the film away in any way, but also, you know, could kind of just learn something from her. And I just felt so lucky that she was willing to speak to me.
And you know, in the clips we've seen, Timothée Chalamet seems to embody Bob Dylan, and as an actor, he's all in, isn't he?
He was in an amazingly consumed and profoundly committed state. People in sports talk about being in kind of
In the zone.
or in a flow state. I really did feel that Timothy got in that best of places an actor can get of existing within the skin of the character, and his discipline was remarkable, and I feel it radiated downward to everybody. The whole company, I think, benefited from the bubble of concentration that he created. But I would really encourage, we're in an era when people want to see behind the scenes stuff and actors in a makeup chair, and I would really encourage you to avoid that with this and just see the film, because Timothy's transformation in it is a monumental performance. It's a just truly phenomenal performance.
Well, it's more than just Timothy's performance, it's all of your performances. You guys are remarkable as well, and we're so lucky that you chose to come here this morning and share this with us. We really appreciate it. It's always great having you. Monica, thank you. Edward, thank you
Pleasure.
so much,
Great to
my
be back.
friend.
Thanks.
Appreciate you. And make sure you check it out. A Complete Unknown hits theaters on Christmas Day. That's your gift right there.